Friends, today we have an industry expert, Mr. Sujesh Vasudevan with us. He has 35 years plus experience in the pharma industry across prescription and OTC therapies. He is a Harvard alumni. He has done his MMS from Mumbai University, Bachelor in Pharmaceutical Sciences from Mumbai University. Currently, he is a senior advisor to Boston Consulting Group. He is an independent director, Eris Lifesciences. He is chairman and non-executive director, Entero Healthcare Solutions Limited. He is an independent director, Hetero Labs, consultant to Warburg Pincus, advisors to many pharma companies and startups. He was on the board of Integrace Private Limited, a true North company. His experience spans a mix of leading Indian and global MNCs. I would like to welcome Mr. Sujesh Vasudevan sir in our program Pill and Pod, where Sujesh sir would actually enlighten us with his wisdom. He had been working in pharmaceutical industry for a very, very long time, as I have already told you. Sujesh sir, thank you so much for coming into our program. Welcome.
Thanks, Samir, for having me.
Sir, I would just like to ask if at all a student, a pharmacy student, maybe a chemistry student, whosoever is doing their bachelor's, maybe B Pharm, maybe BSc, or master's, maybe M Pharm or MSc, or let's say some students might be doing their in PhD as well. If at all they would like to join pharmaceutical industry, because it's a big industry and it's growing phenomenally, how they can join pharmaceutical industry and where?
Okay. So if you look at the way the industry itself is structured, or if you take a company, there are various functions which are important and which constitute any organization or any any company. So you have manufacturing, which is an important component of any organization. You have within manufacturing or associated with manufacturing is quality control and quality assurance. You have R&D, which is again an important part of the pharma field. And then you have sales and marketing, which is an important function. You have distribution, you have HR, you have finance, and then you have regulatory, you have legal and compliance. So these are broadly different functions that the way you can split any pharma company. And so anybody who wants to be associated with the industry or with any company can look at all of these options. So whether you want to get into R&D, then that's an option. You want to get into manufacturing, that's an option. You want to get into quality assurance, that's an option. Regulatory, sales and marketing. But since many of these are specialized, you may have to supplement or augment your core discipline with some additional qualifications. So for example, if you are looking at R&D as an option, then maybe a regular graduation in pharmacy may not be adequate. So you may have to look at doing an MPharm or a PhD and specialize in certain areas which will help you to build a career in R&D.
Right, sir.
Similarly, if you want to get into, say, finance, then maybe only a B Pharm or a BSc may not be adequate, and you may have to do additional qualifications in finance, which could be core finance like a chartered accountancy or something like that, or get into MBA and do an MBA finance and then get into that. So depending on what is your natural inclination, that is something that one would have to look at. And since I'm this interview or podcast is likely to go out to all young aspirants, I think they need to at some stage of their educational time when they're doing their course, I think they need to decide reasonably early as to what exactly is their liking, because while certain functions might look very glamorous from outside, for example, say sales and marketing always is at the forefront of, at least they're the more visible part of the organization. It might look very attractive from outside, but you have to have a natural desire to do that. So everybody who likes to do sales and who may want to do sales and marketing may not necessarily fit into the requirements of that job. Similarly, manufacturing, which is such a critical feature of for any company, everybody may not have a natural liking for that. So I think those decisions one has to take, because if you end up doing what you like, then you are likely to be more successful. Otherwise, just trying to force fit yourself because that role or the job looks attractive from outside may not necessarily turn out to be very good decision in the long run.
Sir, thank you so much. This is the most appropriate answer. Actually, I was anticipating rather so much details in just one answer you had given that aspirants, the new students would actually like to listen to this again and again to get and imbibe the idea which you have given right now. Another question which is coming from your description here, your answer here is, and you have very, very aptly mentioned this, that candidate or student or aspirant should actually decide which area he or she would like to get into in pharmaceutical industry. Like, would they like to go for production? Would they like to go for quality assurance or sales and marketing? Many students, many classmates of mine are asking this question to me as well. How should they decide which area they would actually get fit into? I mean, I am actually not able to answer this properly to them. How should they decide कि उनको sales and marketing में जाना है कि production में जाना है? Sir, can you possibly guide us by giving some approximate idea? How should one student decide किधर जाना है उसको? Which area should they get into or their interest lies into? जैसे आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा, सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग को देखकर प्राइमा फेसी किसी को भी लगता है दैट दिस इज वन एरिया वेयर आई शुड एक्चुअली बी, बिकॉज सो मच ऑफ modernity, maybe facilities, maybe glamour. बाद में they realize that this is not my cup of tea and that they get entangled or stuck. So how should they decide which area should they go?
Correct. So see, it is, honestly, when you're studying, looking at the subjects and all that, you may not necessarily be able to take this call.
Right, sir.
But I think a lot depends on two things, right? One is how you're internally, as a person, how you are, what kind of things excite you, what the way you are structured, so mentally, physically, how you're structured. I think that is an important component. Second is, I think, spending time in understanding what each of these, roles or jobs entail. So, for example, if you look at quality control and quality assurance, if you look at what does that department normally do is that they guarantee that every product that goes out of the premises of the factory is of an assured quality, and it will deliver what it is supposed to deliver in terms of efficacy, safety, and it will deliver that throughout the duration of the shelf life of the product. So this is really what the quality department ensures. And to do a quality job, basically it's more like you're always going to be in the lab and you're going to follow the regimented process. So आपको उसमें innovation का थोड़ा scope कम रहता है, in the sense that there is a prescribed way to test a product. तो आपको एक टैबलेट लेना है, उसमें किसी सॉल्यूशन में डिसॉल्व करना, उसका एक्सट्रैक्ट लेना, उसको केमिकली एनालाइज करना है, एंड देन सर्टिफाई कि ये प्रोडक्ट में ये जो ड्रग है वो इतना क्वांटिटी का ड्रग है, जो भी व्हाट, सो इट्स अ वेरी रेजिमेंटेड वे ऑफ डूइंग थिंग्स, सो you can't suddenly say कि instead of one tablet now I'll take 2 tablets and analyze, or I will do a different method of analysis. So if you're constitutionally, if you like a regimented way of doing things which is more predictable, then maybe you'll be more inclined towards say a quality job. Whereas sales अगर लोगे तो sales में there is nothing predictable. From every day is different, every call is different, so if you like unpredictability in your life, if you're not if you don't like routine work, if you want some excitement, so but naturally sales would be a choice. But you also have to be prepared कि sales में struggle उतना ही ज़्यादा है, तो and खास करके आजकल के highly competitive environment में it is not easy to get doctors to prescribe your product. So because there are too many people fighting for the same prescription. So if you're willing to face those challenges, if you're willing to travel within the city or even outside, and morning से रात तक आपका कोई fixed time तो नहीं रहता है sales job में, तो you're always on the move.
जी.
तो अगर ये आपको naturally अगर आपको inclination लगता है कि as an individual you like to do those things, then maybe you will end up choosing a sales job, or you will be more comfortable doing a sales job. So yeah, I think very individual choices, but I would strongly recommend कि students should maybe get an opportunity to interact with people to understand कि ये job में है क्या.
जी.
While quality ये सब functions है, लेकिन इसमें करना क्या पड़ता है. So अगर वो थोड़ा सा clarity उनको अपने curriculum के दौरान अगर वो अगर थोड़ा सा if they are able to get this insight, then maybe they'll be better prepared to choose what you would like to do.
बिल्कुल ठीक कहा सर आपने. Absolutely right. I am 100% sure now that the candidates or the students and the aspirants whosoever are there listening to this program and might be going through right now in their curriculum, in their studying, and of course every professional course provides facility or the time to go for an industrial training, maybe a hospital training or an industrial training. Now they can deliberately make it a point to interact with each and every personal out there, professional out there in every function of pharmaceutical industry, like quality assurance, quality control, maybe production, maybe research and development, maybe regulatory affairs. Everybody, they should interact with those people to find out what exactly, as Mr. Sujesh Vasudevan sir very correctly said, what exactly is the job description of that area, and does it actually match with their personality, their liking or not, so that they would reach to a proper conclusion that this is the area, this is the job description function where I would like to make my career. Fantastic, sir. Thank you so much.
I would just like to add one more, Samir,
please,
if you permit me.
Please, sir.
I'll just like to add one more point.
Please, sir.
Is that, most of your students will have seniors who have passed out from their, colleges.
Right, sir.
And the seniors will also, seniors would have taken different roles. So some would have gone into manufacturing, some would have gone into, sales. So seniors will also be a very good sounding board, because seniors, unka gap itna nahi hoga in terms of seniority. Right? So they'll be some 2-3 years older. So their ability to share these kind of insights might be useful, and even the students will find it comfortable to talk to somebody who's passed out from their own college to figure out ki kya relevant hai, or kya to outside how's the environment. Second is that I would also encourage, कितना time मिलता है बच्चों को पता नहीं मेरे को आजकल from their curriculum, but अगर उनको sales के बारे में जानकारी अगर चाहिए तो maybe उनके friend circle में if there is a medical rep जो उनके साथ या तो वो जानते होंगे उसको, तो उनके साथ एक दिन काम कर लिया फॉर एग्जांपल, ऐसे उनके साथ टैग कर लिया. So they will come to know कि यार इस जॉब में करना क्या पड़ता है, कि केमिस्ट के पास जाओ, कि how do you get information, डॉक्टर के पास क्या होता है. So these could also be practical insights, because industrial training and all are more focused, I feel, on in the factory environment.
जी.
Whereas sales marketing के बारे में थोड़ा कम insight मिलता है. तो I think the more they keep their eyes and ears open and interact with people, I think they'll be able to make a decision by the time they are exiting college.
Very, very right, sir. Very right. Amazing wisdom. Thank you so much, sir. Listeners, whosoever are listening to this program, again, I would like to request you to please listen to this program again and again, so that you can imbibe what Mr. Sujesh Vasudevan is teaching us, telling us, guiding us. We should keep on trying our level best consciously and deliberately to find out what exactly is happening in what function. As sir very correctly suggested, beautifully suggested, that it's the easiest thing which we can easily do any day. It's just a matter of one day which we can invest. Tag along with any medical representative, request him, maybe treat him, give him dinner or lunch, whatever. And then just for a day, get yourself tagged along with him. Just travel with him. Just see how exactly he is working. He is making a call to the doctors, maybe chemist, maybe stockist. He is roaming around the city here and there, making appointments. So you would come to know whether you would like to do the job, how would you grow, is it suiting to your personality. Similarly, you can try labeling and connecting to other functions. Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Another question which I would like to ask, and I sincerely hope that students and aspirants could get benefit out of that. That I would like to request you to please give us honest review on the actual ground reality of any function in pharmaceutical industry. So honest review मेरे को चाहिए सर कि pharmaceutical industry how exactly. फर्ज कीजिए कोई केमिस्ट्री का स्टूडेंट फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री में करियर बनाना चाहता है, तो हाउ एग्जैक्टली फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री रन्स, व्हाट इज फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री, उसको कैसे मालूम पड़े?
So pharma industry basically is they provide solutions for ailments or diseases that people might be having.
Right, sir.
By providing solutions in terms of drug therapy. So this is broadly what the pharma industry does. And so they are not involved in diagnosis of the ailment, or that is done by the doctor. So there is a एक triangle अगर आप imagine करोगे तो there is a doctor, there is a patient, and then there is a pharma industry. तो ये तीन का एक
triangle है.
Triangle है. And इसमें patient whenever he or she feels unwell would approach a doctor to seek to find out exactly what is wrong with me and to seek some solution. So based on symptoms, etc., and clinical history and all that, the doctor would come to a diagnosis, and then based on the diagnosis, the doctor would suggest certain solutions. Part of the solution will involve drug medicines. Some of the solutions might involve changing in lifestyle or some of those things. So the pharma industry really comes into play when any drug solutions are recommended, and so the companies are involved in making medicines which will provide solutions. So this is what essentially the pharma industry does, a very critical role of providing solutions. Now, isme there are two components. One is certain companies are also involved in researching to find new products or new solutions for existing challenges, or for challenges which don't have concrete solutions today. So there are companies which are involved in researching and trying to find out solutions for either unmet needs, जिसको बोलते हैं हम लोग इसमें unmet medical needs,
जी,
or improving whatever is already available. So ये R&D भी होता है. Some companies don't do R&D, but they just produce and manufacture what is already available.
Right, sir.
And through their promotion to doctors and making the products available in the pharmacies, etc., they reach it to the patients, and patients consume, and hopefully they get better using these kind of products. So this is what the pharma industry does. But I would also like your students to understand that whichever role that they get into, whether it is R&D, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's quality, whether it's sales, distribution, marketing, whatever, एक चीज जो खासकर आजकल के जनरेशन के लिए ये समझना जरूरी है कि there are no shortcuts to success. और आप किसी भी रोल में होंगे तो, लेकिन requirement, at least I still believe, although there are a lot of people who may or may not agree with what I say, but that the foundation is working very hard, and there is no substitute for that, is what I believe. So आप किसी भी इंडस्ट्री में और किसी भी रोल में होंगे तो throughout your work life, there is no substitute for putting in those hard hours of work.
Absolutely right, sir.
Pharma industry में खास करके ज़्यादा ही है, because you are having an impact on the health of individuals, and therefore that becomes even more critical, as opposed to selling some computers or something जहाँ पे आपका health पे शायद इतना impact नहीं होगा. ये खास और critical हो जाता है इसमें.
Very correct, sir. Very correct. So जैसा सुजेश वासुदेवन साहब ने अभी कहा, जो एक्चुअल ग्राउंड रियलिटी है फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री की, जो ऑनेस्ट रिव्यू है वो यही है कि फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री में काम करने वाला हर इंडिविजुअल इज अकाउंटेबल एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द हेल्थ पार्ट ऑफ द सोसाइटी. देयर कोई भी छोटे से छोटा रिस्क नहीं लिया जा सकता, कैन नॉट बी अफोर्डेबल. सो वन पर्सन whosoever is working in pharmaceutical industry in any function is accountable for the welfare of the society. हो सकता है हम कंप्यूटर साइंसेस की किसी कंपनी में काम कर रहे हों, टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनी में काम कर रहे हैं, और हमसे छोटी मोटी गलती हो जाए एक सॉफ्टवेयर बनाने में, तो ठीक है, कुछ करोड़ों का या लाखों का नुकसान हो जाएगा. लेकिन यहाँ अगर एक गलती हो गई तो करोड़ों लाखों लोगों की जिंदगी का नुकसान होगा, विच इज़ नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल एट ऑल. और जैसा सुजेश सर ने कहा कि हार्डवर्क का कोई सब्स्टिट्यूट ना पहले था, ना अब है, और ना आगे कभी होगा. बिकॉज अगर आप सीरियस एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन एंड प्रोफेशनल बनना चाहते हैं तो हार्डवर्क तो करना पड़ेगा, उतना टाइम भी लगेगा हार्डवर्क करने में. थैंक यू सो मच सर, थैंक यू सो मच. Another question which I would like to ask sir, which is being asked to me again and again, I am not actually able to answer that with all commitment and affirmation, is students would like to know what kind of overseas opportunities are available in pharmaceutical industry and in which function, so that they can decide कि अच्छा ठीक है, अगर रेगुलेटरी में है तो आई वुड स्टार्ट फोकसिंग. बिकॉज बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का वन पॉइंट एजेंडा होता है सर कि मेरे को इंडिया के बाहर जाके काम करना है. तो अगर वो फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री में ज्वाइन करे तो कौन से फंक्शन में ज्वाइन करे?
So see, there are 2-3 different ways of looking at this thing. तो एक है कि there are companies, global companies which are headquartered outside or have operations throughout the world. Right. तो अगर आप ऐसे किसी कंपनी में ज्वाइन करते हैं और and through that company you get placed in the regional headquarters or in the global headquarters of the company, then that is one way to go outside of India. The second is that there are a lot of Indian companies with global operations.
Right.
तो अगर आप किसी ऐसे इंडियन कंपनी में ज्वाइन करते हैं जहाँ पे through that company, now इसमें दो तरह के होते हैं. So while Indian companies have global operations, you can do work for the ex-India operations sitting in India also, or you get placed in some regional headquarters outside India also. So these are the ways of doing it. The easier way to go through or go to these kind of opportunities is through the sales and marketing role.
Mm-hmm.
Because अगर किसी इंडियन कंपनी का फ्रंट एंड ऑपरेशंस है किसी आउटसाइड इंडिया कंपनी में, तो वहाँ पे अगर कोई कंट्री मैनेजर या रीजनल मैनेजर की जरूरत है, तो यहाँ से देयर आर इनफ एग्जांपल्स ऑफ इंडियंस being placed in those kind of roles. The same is applicable even for global multinational companies जहाँ पे you might be working for that company in India, but the company has an opportunity outside and they have identified you as a good talent, so they might put you into those kind of roles. So easier ways through a sales and marketing role. There are people that I'm aware of who have also gone into manufacturing roles. If a company has got manufacturing footprint outside India और वहाँ पे plant अगर वहाँ पे कोई opportunity आती है, तो so there also these kind of options exist.
Right, sir.
So largely यहाँ पे then of course if there are companies who operate offices outside India, तो वहाँ पे अगर कोई फाइनेंस का रिक्वायरमेंट है या वहाँ पे कोई सप्लाई चेन का रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो वैसे भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज.
सो यू हैड मी जस्ट टेलिंग कि इफ एट ऑल सम कंपनी हैज मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फुटप्रिंट outside India in some other location, maybe in Middle East, maybe in African countries. So the student and aspirant could always try their level best to get into those areas. अब वो जाएंगे कैसे, वहाँ पर उसको करेंगे, वो एक अलग टॉपिक है. उसके लिए ऑफ कोर्स जैसे आपने पहले कहा था, they should be working extremely hard and making the organization feel that they are actually eligible candidates who could be utilized for further upliftment of the company, upliftment of the organization, then you can always shift yourself out there. Thank you so much, sir. Another question I would just like to ask, sir, how important is networking, personal networking in pharmaceutical industry to make a career, to grow? How important is networking?
Networking is is definitely important in all aspects of life, and particularly in today's world, which is so hyper connected, and whatever you do is known to everybody, and people know you, know people through various social media engagements, etc. So networking तो important है, but I would at least for students who are starting off, what is more important is to establish yourself through your work.
Right, sir.
So, because network, in absence of that, I do not know how much value it is. That people should know you because of your work, and then the network plays a very strong facilitator.
Okay.
But if you have not been able to establish, and I'm not talking about कि बहुत एकदम miraculously आपने कुछ काम किया हो या extraordinary कोई work किया हो, ऐसा नहीं होता है. I think corporate world recognizes people who are committed, and that comes across through your dedication and your work. So even if you have created some kind of credibility around that you deliver on your commitments, that you are always focused on the task at hand, and you also go beyond what is expected out of your job, that word itself spreads, and that creates its own noise in the network. So you don't have to seek out very actively ki, I have to network with different people, I have to make my presence felt, I have to engage with multitudes of people to I think there is a way that people recognize you if you are one step ahead. तो एक बार आपका individual strength and credibility establish होता है, then the network will play a very strong facilitator. लेकिन अगर आपका इंडिविजुअल क्रेडिबिलिटी कुछ नहीं है और आपने हमेशा
नेटवर्किंग
कॉम्प्रोमाइज किया है काम में, या तो फिर आप लेड बैक लाइफ लीड कर रहे हैं, एंड देन यू आर होपिंग कि नेटवर्क की वजह से मेरा कुछ आगे सक्सेस हो जाएगा, तो वो नहीं होगा.
वेरी राइट सर.
एंड इवन इफ इट हैपेंस, इट विल फॉल फ्लैट वेरी क्विकली, बिकॉज just like people recognize good work, people are also very sensitive about laggards also. So आपका individual credibility will take you much forward.
Absolutely right, sir. Thank you very very much for this, because I too, जब आप बता रहे थे सर, तभी मेरे दिमाग में कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स चल रहे थे pharma industry के ही. जब when I was working out there, I had been watching, and of course the entire industry had been watching those guys who had just been shifting tables quite frequently by using the network facility. And very soon, as you very, very correctly and aptly placed out, that they fell flat within a few years. And now they are nowhere. They are gone. So it always happens. I would like to request every listener to this program, be extremely careful about not using networking in the first hand, because it is a double-edged sword, which can probably make you in the later run, but it can kill you if at all you will start using it in the first phase of your career, first phase of your professional career. As Sujesh sir mentioned previously as well in one of the answers of a question, that hard work has got no substitution. If at all you will make your credibility by doing serious work, by your integrity, working for the organization, people are watching. They are watching you. They are watching your candidature for upliftment, for further growth in pharmaceutical industry. Thank you so much, sir. I would just like to request very politely, very humbly for a question, which is actually being asked to me again, and almost every student in pharma education is feeling this, and they have this question in the top of their mind, is because they are comparing themselves, pharma student, they are comparing themselves with other disciplines of education, that they are getting very low salary packages in this industry. So I would just like to request you to please give us some wisdom on this, so that these pharma students or maybe chemistry students can feel empowered, or maybe they can feel confident that they are in the right stream. They are comparing themselves with computer sciences students, that okay, as soon as they complete their education, they get a package of 15 lakhs, 12 lakhs, and these guys are still lingering on 4, 5 lakhs. So they feel inferior. What could they do about it, sir?
Yeah. So I think I'm not very familiar with packages across industries and across different roles and all that. But I know that, see, I think it's a question of which companies you are comparing with, in which industries, and at what stage of the roles. But even if you're, for example, if I go by what the question that you raised is that if the assumption is that pharma is paying less now, but I think somewhere it also catches up later on in life, so कहीं पे जाके ये equalization तो हो भी जाता है
जी.
And pharma वैसे कम पे करता है, ऐसा नहीं है. Like I maybe if you're a regular graduate, say B Pharm or BSc, then maybe your salary estimates might be at a certain level. But I have seen that people who say after pharmacy go to a good management institute,
Right, sir,
and then join organizations, Indian pharma companies, and they pay quite well at management trainee levels and all that. So it depends on at what is the background that you're coming with, and what is your education background and all that. However, I would also advise the students that initially salary के बारे में compare करना, I don't think, at least during our times and all that was not the consideration, or that was not the only consideration. I think it's important to invest 4-5 years of your initial work life to build a strong foundation for yourself in terms of the area that you're looking at, and gaining some solid experience, contributing to the organization's growth initiatives, learning a lot about what the industry is all about. And once you have that foundation, then building on that foundation, you will find that salary acceleration, everything happens quite up to the expectation. So salary का थोड़ा बहुत mismatch starting में होगा. Then you also have to look at salary के साथ क्या क्या है. What is the kind of work-life balance that you have?
जी.
Certain industries or certain jobs might pay very well, but you have to compromise on some other things. So I think a total एक package के तरह हमको देखना चाहिए इसको, and rather than just looking at one aspect of the job, how stable are certain, pharma में stability relatively to say IT, जहाँ पे you keep hearing of job losses, कि 10,000 लोगों को एक lay off कर दिया, या इतने लोगों को वो कर दिया, तो या तो increments मिले ही नहीं, like or you have to take a hit on the salary, कि आपका salary decline हो गया, increase तो हुआ ही नहीं, तो decline हो गया after, because there are so many cyclical trends that happen in some of these industries. On relative to that, pharma is much more stable. Much more predictable. So if you're in the pharma line, you may start at a certain level, but there is a steady growth that keeps happening. So अगर आप 5-10 साल का एक टाइम फ्रेम लोगे, जी आज आपने शुरू किया और आपके किसी दोस्त ने से आईटी में शुरू किया, and 10 years का अगर आप एक टाइम फ्रेम लोगे, तो maybe you will not be too different than that individual. So ऐसा, I wouldn't say that pharma is less paying or anything like that. I think there are pluses and minuses of every job and every industry, and we have to decide कि हमको किस क्या करना है उसमें.
Amazing, sir. Amazing advice, amazing guidance, fantastic suggestions. I'm 100% sure students, aspirants who might be having a hazy vision of pharmaceutical industry, as they might have been comparing themselves with some other discipline, after listening to these guidance from the expert of the pharmaceutical industry like Sujesh Vasudevan sir, they would have a clear idea now. There would not be any mist in their mind. they would have a clear idea how exactly their career is going to be. As Sujesh sir has beautifully and very appropriately mentioned, that comparing oneself, pharma industry, let's say pharma students, to other disciplines is not a right comparison. Apple could be compared with apple only. It should not be compared with oranges. And every industry has its own ups and downs. Every industry has its own pluses and minuses. So we'll have to look into our industry. Stability is extremely important. Pharma industry is a hard skill. We are making drugs, we are making medicines, and we are taking care of the health of the society. Of course, we are taking care of our career as well. Whereas the question lies of other industries, they are taking care of something else. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I would sincerely like to convey my sincere thanks, regards, and gratitude to you that you have given your valuable time to guide and provide your wisdom to new aspirants. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, and I hope your young students find some of this useful. And but ultimately they have to take their own call and decisions. What I say might just act as as one input, but eventually people have to take their own calls and own decisions and be responsible for what they're doing.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Samir. Thank you.